And one thing that's surprising to me is how much bad scholarship there is in terms of the conversion of scholarship as opposed to the people that actually do the work. And how if one scholar makes a false conclusion, then everyone else quotes that person without original research, which is understandable. And so there's a lot of misinformation. Like, for instance, a lot of work has been done on oil flax versus fiber flax. In other words, are we going for the oil from the seed as our primary objective, or the fiber as our primary objective? And in the world of splitting hairs, then that really matters a lot. So people do some intensive breeding to cultivate for fiber or to cultivate for oil. But I've read time after time how the oil flax, in other words, flax that's grown for oil, fiber is no good. So in other words, if a flax is grown for its oil, then forget the fiber, it's no good. And in my experience, when you can buy fiber flax seeds, which are very expensive and hard to find, for $4 for a spoonful of seeds, or you can buy 25 pounds of oil flax seed for the last time we bought it was $9 for 25 pounds. And so over the years I've grown a lot of flax, and it's so much more a factor of the soil, growing conditions, how it's farmed, rather than if you start with oil flax or fiber flax. So understand what I mean. The scholars are saying that the oil flax fiber is no good. You're just growing it for the oil. Well, actually, you can do both. There's a compromise, and you can certainly have both, and for different grades of things. But and hemp would be similar. There hadn't been a lot of hemp research lately, so in other words, that's an example. That was my example of bad scholarship, where one person says it and so everyone repeats them, and it's not really true. I can't tell much difference in terms of the fiber itself, and I'm sure under scientific conditions someone may be able to do that, but I can't tell any difference. They all make good fiber, and they all make good oil. If everything you read and hear says that won't work, you can't use oil flax for fiber, then you never try it. But I mean, how many scientists actually get out and would even try that? They may be taking their numbers from workers in the field, and there's a lot of miscommunication, and sometimes maybe the workers would tell them what they want to hear rather than what's really going on, or stuff like that. So and it's just like the bluegrass craftsman when he wrote about papermaking. Here's a rare instance of an actual papermaker writing about papermaking in great detail. So there's certainly scholarly works at the time, but they don't talk about papermaking like he did. And it's the same thing of combination. The mechanic works with his mind and his hands. In the old days, a mechanic was, a person that works with their hands. A craftsman was a mechanic. Yeah, see, well, let's say if you have that one case of somebody quoting the original guy who came to some questionable conclusion, that happens a lot. So you've got to have these, I would like to say, kind of pioneer Americans that are just trying to do it, and they're just experimenting, either out of ignorance or just and pure experimentation, because that's all they have. Then they come up with great solutions. Now this is the magic stuff that I cook with. In old days, you could make this with ash, and I certainly have, but the amount of alkaline power in this compared to making your own out of ash is takes a colossal amount of ash to actually make what we would get in one of these. Now, trouble is, this is pretty old too, and you can't go into the store and buy pure lye anymore because of the meth thing, you know. Because that's one of the things they can use or something or other. Well, I've got this in a medium strong alkaline solution of lye. Like I only had about this much in the can. And that's still, I didn't take a pH on it, but and it's probably soapy feeling now. But as it cooks, it gets much, much weaker. This isn't even that strong. Now, the stronger it is, the more slick it would feel. And then at some point, you wouldn't want to put your finger in there. If you dumped that whole can in there, you wouldn't want to be putting your finger in there and splashing it around. Right? This is fairly weak, but I am encouraged by how brown the liquid is, meaning that it's cooking out a lot of non-cellulose. And that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to purify it to the cellulose. And you have to be gentle on the fire. You don't want huge flames coming up the side because it can burn, the fiber gets stuck on the outside and it burns it. So you just want to simmer it. You don't want a monstrous fire going there.